Good Sunday morning, everybody. Come on in. It's time to cook Sunday dinner. And today, as you can see on the menu, we got turkey meatloaf, fried chicken, steamed cabbage, candied yams, rice, cornbread, peach tea, and green beans. I didn't put my green beans. I knew it was one thing, but we got green beans going on today. And of course, you see right there, it says, "Hey, Sydney, happy birthday." Sydney is my brother-in-law. They're up in Fayetteville now with my nephew. So it's Sydney's birthday today, so we're going to say happy birthday to him when they get off the flavor train and come on in here and sit down and eat. Now, let's get down to getting this dinner on the table, y'all. So I'm going to start over here. Got my cabbage and sweet potatoes over there. Some of my seasoning. Got my pots on the stove getting heated up to cook them in. And over here to my far right, that meatloaf, I went ahead and put it together last night, put it into the refrigerator and covered it. And I'm going to run it through the oven, uncover it for about an hour, and about an hour and 15-20 minutes it should be done. This is a turkey meatloaf, y'all. And in that turkey meatloaf, I've got a couple, 2.5 pounds of turkey meat. I've got a cup of Italian breadcrumbs, a medium onion, small onion, medium onion, a medium green pepper, 2 stalks of celery, all ground up together and added in a tablespoon of complete seasoning, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. Mixed all together with 1 egg. Mix all that together and form my meatloaf, of course, in my trusty tin foil cooking pan. So this is going to go in a 375 degree oven for about an hour and 15 to 30 minutes, depending on whether it's done at that time. Then I'm going to, later on, about 1 o'clock, I'm going to start frying chicken right there, y'all. You see it. And, of course, I got to cook the rice and the green beans and all that. So as I do each entree, I will let you in on it. For those of you who need some tips on how to cook certain things, keep watching, and I want to share it with you. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and start filling these sweet potatoes for my candy yams. I've got 5 pretty good sized potatoes, I think. Yeah, I've got 5. I don't know why I thought I had 6. Anywho, I'm just going to peel them the old-fashioned way because for me it's just faster than using a potato peeler. So I'm just going to get me that bag. Gotta put the peels in. And if you've never peeled a potato before in your life, start like that. Push down and just let your thumb guide. Real simple process. And try to get, the peel off as thin as you can because you want to cut away too much of your potato. A potato peeler, of course, will peel them closer, I guess you say. Yeah, potato peeler will peel them a little bit closer. If you got a potato peeler, by all means, or get that little pit out of there. There's a pit all the way through here. Take the pits out. I like to take mine as I'm going. As I'm peeling, I will go ahead. Well, I'll just peel them all first, and then we'll cut them up. Inspect them, and the same thing with white potatoes. As soon as the air hit these potatoes, they start turning a dark color. So go ahead and peel them as fast as you can and get them into some water. Now the water will stop that. I guess is it oxidation? I have to look that up. Just come to think of it. Maybe it is oxidation because when the air hits these potatoes, honey, I'm here to tell you, they start changing on you. They change up on you, switch up on you. So anywho, make sure you have a good sharp knife and be careful with the knife. But you have to get used to that feel to do this. It takes a little bit of doing. You have to get that little but not a lot. I mean, this is not rocket science, y'all. This is about feel. That's why I say in cooking, you have to be able to feel what you're cooking, just like you have to see and smell it. You have to be able to feel it. So you feel how much pressure you need to put on these sweet potatoes. You won't have to peel it doesn't take as much to peel an apple as it does a sweet potato, because sweet potatoes are much firmer. Apples are more pliable, if you will. And you're gonna have to put the pressure on that knife when you're peeling. Okay. I don't know. And I probably should use a potato peeler because it would help out my hand. My hands, of course, over time from cooking, and when I was working, I had to use a computer a lot. I had to write a lot. I ended up with carpal tunnel, y'all, but my hands still work fine. Okay, so got a couple more to peel. I'm gonna be right back, y'all. Okay, now it's time to cut the potato. You can cut them in circles. You can cut them however you want to cut. I'm going to do these in circles. It's just so much easier. Make sure you have a sharp knife, y'all. About 1/2 inch circles. 1/2 inch thick circles. Why that one act like it didn't want to cooperate with the program. So take each potato like so, just hold it like so. Let's get it right down there. You can see exactly. Just be careful with your hands now. Please be careful so you don't cut yourselves. I don't want nobody to cut themselves. I'm just pushing these right here in my colander. My colander's right there in the sink. When you get down to like that, that's too thick, so I'm just going to cut into it again. Cut them. And that's the basic technique for just cutting potato. And this, look, as you can see now, this does not take a long time to do. So you can have candy. And it takes a good while to cook them, but the prep time takes you about maybe 10-15 minutes. It's all because you got to make sure you peel them good, wash them good, slice them right, and then get them in the pan. So I will be back, and we'll have these taters on the stove. Okay, I've got my sweet potatoes on the stove. Now, I do not put water in these, except this pot here is not a real heavy pot. So I put a little bit of water in there, and I'm just going to get that going, and most of that will boil out. But you don't pour water in here, because when you put your sugar and your butter, it will start making a syrup, because you want them candied. So I'm going to, because I don't want them to stick. So I just get that little bit of water in this pan here, because the pan is thin. That's sort of what I do to ensure. Okay, I can hear this going right now. So what I'm going to start doing now, I'm going to start out with my brown sugar. Okay, this is 1 cup of brown sugar. And because I hear that sizzling in the bottom, I'm going to lower that heat, because you know things can heat up real fast. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the equivalent of 2 sticks of butter. Okay, that's 1 tablespoon. You sort of get it down in there, because I want that butter to melt down right on with that sugar. And it'll start forming my waste and stuff. It'll start forming my syrup for the candy yams. This is the remainder of a stick of butter, so I'm just gonna put this is about a 1/2 stick of butter. So on my new margarine that I'm using, I've been calling it Smart Start. It's not Smart Start. It's Smart Balance. I'm sure somebody would have corrected me. So anyway, we're gonna say that's 1 stick of butter in there. Okay. Get off that spoon. It's 1 stick of butter down in there. And that butter will just continue to melt through there. And I just want to make sure it gets all down into the bottom of the pan. That's what I'm trying to do. I should have really put me some butter in the bottom, but I didn't. So, now I'm kind of sort of satisfied. Okay. Now, that's 1 stick of butter in. Now we got to put the rest of our sugar, because we got to have a about 2 cups of sugar in there. So that's 1 more cup of sugar in there. Now, that's my brown sugar. I'm also going to put a 1/2 cup of white sugar. So, I'll put it in after I put all my other ingredients in. So now what we got going, we got the brown sugar and the butter. Yeah, it's melting right along, so I'm good. So now we're gonna put some nutmeg in there, about a 1/2. Remember I told you nutmeg is strong, but you gotta have that flavor in there, just enough, just a hint. So about a 1/2 teaspoon and a couple tablespoons of vanilla flavor. That's about what's left in this bottle. So we're just gonna just pour those couple of tablespoons right, and that's your imitation. So you know it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Now got all my sugar in except for my white sugar and then my other stick of butter. So the other thing that I put in there is about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The salt will blend out the sugar and give it an even more buttery taste in there. Okay, so that's why the salt. These little tricks, my mom taught me all these little tricks about salt, sugar, and what goes with what. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put another stick of butter in there, and that's going to be another 4 tablespoons of out of here, since I'm using this. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. Okay, now I'm gonna, oops, sorry about that, y'all. Y'all know I have to do at least 1. I had not done 1 today, so sorry. Okay, so the rest of that sugar goes right on top of there. Right on top. So when everything starts to get candied and nice and syrupy, this process takes a good hour. So this is not a short thing, but it's easy to get started. So you get it going a good hour and you're done. So we got the candy yams on, so when they get all bubbled and boiled and melted, we'll come back and take a peek at it. Okay, y'all, it's time for the rest of the cabbage to go in. So you see the green parts, they've cooked through pretty good. So we're just gonna put these pieces here in. And the water will steam up on them and get them all nice and wilt it down into the pot there. So that's the pot of cabbage. You know, like I say, cooking cabbage is really simple. The key to any good dish is the seasoning, of course. And in certain instances, you have to have a certain technique to cook them. I'm going to go ahead and cut off more than I thought I did on that one. The little pull parts is what goes in there. What doesn't go in there, I just keep those little, I call them the little cores. So now I will add the rest of my seasoning. So I'll add my other tablespoon of complete seasoning right on top, and as that steam comes up, it'll pull all that seasoning down through there, and I will go ahead and stir everything up, get everything stirred up. Okay, and also, you know, I gotta put my butter or my smart balance in there. And that's the rest of it. So I can cover this for right now and just let that everything melt down and steam up. I'm gonna let it roll and boil for about 5 minutes, and then I'll turn it all the way down and let it cook for about another 5 minutes. Because actually, you know, cabbage, you don't have to cook them a whole lot. Oh, y'all know I forgot my brown sugar, don't you? I need a good tablespoon of brown sugar in there. And I'm just all over the place. I forgot my vinagre. I also use either regular vinegar or a tablespoon of rice vinegar to go in there. That just uses that taste up, y'all, now. You know, you got to have that flavor going. I'm so busy trying to get over here to the next thing, I'm forgetting half my ingredients. So now I've had to add the vinegar, the butter, the sugar, and I need my black pepper. Since I can't find my one I cook with, I just take it out of my shaker. About a good teaspoon of black pepper that needs to go in there. Just a teaspoonful, y'all. And like I said, when that steam reaches up there and pulls everything down, I'll give it a good stir, and we'll be on our way. And that teaspoon of salt that needs to go on top of there. Okay. Those cabbage are on their way to being epic, y'all. Sweet potatoes are still doing well back there. So the next thing coming up, I'm going to go ahead and get the stove ready to do my green beans. We're just going to stir fry them, season them up real good, throw some onions in them. Okay, we're getting ready to get the green beans going into the pan here. So I've got my green beans. I've got 2 pounds of green beans. These are those members mark. Members mark. Steam in a bag green beans if you want to, but we're not steaming them in the bag. We're gonna stir fry them in the pan. So I'm just gonna slice some onion, like so, just onion ringlets, and some really hot oil and some butter. Gonna season them up. And we're going to have some nice pan-fried green beans here today. Okay. Got my green beans. Get them mixed in there really good. Just start to separate those onions and get everything in between going there. Now, the beans have been frozen, so they'll have a little bit of condensation. So I'm going to have to reduce them all the way down. But I just went ahead, going ahead and mixing the green beans and onions together. So when I get them in the pan now, be careful with this. Like I said, because they got a lot of water content going on in there. There's my spatula. I'm going to use a spatula. Okay, those cabbage are just about cooked down enough. But you see, the cabbage are just about done. What I'm going to do now is just turn them off, cover, and they'll finish cooking right there on the stove with the no heat. Sweet potatoes are still cooking nicely. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop those green beans in there. That heat needs to be up real high, y'all. So too much water won't form in there. I don't have too much water to cook off. But by the time that water cooks off, those beans and onions will be done now. And of course, you see the cooking slowed down because they were frozen. And they slowed that cooking process all the way down. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start putting in my seasoning. I've got, and just leave the heat up high because you're going to have to cook them on high the entire time. teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. I think I'm about ready to put that garlic powder away. A teaspoon of salt. Okay. Remember to have that heat high. And don't get scared when it goes down on you, because it's going to do that. And then another half a teaspoon of my dry bouillon chicken seasoning. And I'm going to be putting my butter in after this because I don't want the butter to brown up on me. And we're going to do a teaspoon of everything. You know, beans are very porous, so that should be enough for that, because I want to put a little Gold Mountain seasoning on there. So go ahead and this wok is a good thing to cook these beans in too, by the way. Okay, so it's going to have to heat back up. Okay, so I can get all my ingredients put away. And while those beans are cooking, I'm gonna go over here and do a little cleanup. And then the last thing I'm gonna have to cook, of course, is the chicken. I gotta do a pan of cornbread so if anybody needs to know how to do cornbread, y'all can watch me do that, because I've got this little bit of extra time with the beans. Okay, the green beans are cooking nicely now. I've added about a tablespoon of my Gold Mountain seasoning. For those of you who are not familiar with it, see how cheap it is? $2.79, and this is a big old bottle. It is soybean sauce. I don't know, some of you maybe not be able to eat it. I bought it at the Asian market, y'all. Season's real good, y'all. So we're gonna let the green beans cook for another 20 minutes, and they're gonna be done. Okay. Right now they're just the juice is in them. I'm just doing what we call reducing the juice, because green beans, you know, they're vegetables, so they yield a lot of water. And I got my onions in there, and by the time all that juice cooks out, they'll be nice and tasty, y'all. Nice and tasty. Look at that. All that good seasoning cooking through them. Just keep them stirred, and keep that heat all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Isn't that a song? I think it is. Anywho, y'all, let me get back over here, because now I am preparing to I'm gonna get ready to do my cornbread, and I've got to do the tomato sauce for my meatloaf, and cook some rice, and this dinner will be done. We're gonna sit down at 4 o'clock, y'all. One of the things I'm doing with these beans too, because there's a lot of juice. I don't want to really lose that juice, but I don't need those beans in there boiling and either. So in a wok, you can get your food off to the side, because you know the hottest point, of course, is right there in the center. So what I'm doing is letting these beans, I'm just going to heat that seasoning onto them, and let that try to let a little bit more of that juice cook out of there. Okay, it's one way to do it, y'all. One way to do it. Another way to do it is just enough. You get a lot of seasoning going on, and you don't want all it to lose that seasoning. This is the way to not to lose it. Okay. Because these beans are almost done. I just want all that juice to cook out of it. Okay. And when it all cooks, I'll push them back to the center of the pan, and we'll be done. Trust me, this broth that I'm putting over these beans is wonderful. Yum, yum, yum. Most of which is butter. Okay. Let's try one of the beans. See what it be like. What it be tasting like there. See. They're hot too. Okay. Just about long. Okay, now I am ready to take these beans out of that cooking process. So I got my pretty Mary Liz pan standing by over here. I'll sit that right up there. And we're going to switch places. And these beans are done, y'all. Just sitting on the burner there for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get them into my beautiful cornucopia pan. That pan is way too wide to put over there like that. So we're just going to dip them in. Just going to dip them in. This is a nice casserole pan here too. Thanks, Mary. Sorry, y'all put this pan to good use, girl. My friend, my friend. You knew just what to send me. All that good seasoning laid up on them beans. Perfect. That pan is the perfect size for these beans too, by the way. So, got every bit of those beans and all the ingredients out of there. And now we're done. Doesn't it look just absolutely stunningly wonderful? And you see the all the complete seasoning, because it has like garlic and has chunks of little ingredients in there, so that's what you're seeing. Okay, so those beans are done, y'all. So now what I'm going to do is just get them to the back of the stove, because I need them off that burn. I don't need them still cooking. Yum, yum, yummy. Let them sit back there and rest a little bit. I'm going to bring, that's my rice pot. I'm going to just bring it and let the water start getting hot for the rice. Those beans are ready. So cabbage ready, beans ready. Candy yams are almost ready. My meatloaf is, I just got to put the sauce on it. Now I fry the chicken and make the brown this bread, and we'll be done. Okay, y'all, we get ready to make the meat sauce for the meatloaf. So in my, I'm gonna say it right, my NutriBullet, I've got half of the tomatoes. I'm gonna use some diced tomatoes. Got half of them in there. I got a half of a small medium onion and just a third of a green pepper and one stalk of celery. I'm gonna go ahead and grind it up real good because I gotta run it through the microwave to cook it, and then I'm gonna put the juices off the meatloaf in there, and we're gonna have us some gravy. Okay, that grounded up my bell pepper, celery, and onion. I'm not going to grind everything up as fine. I'm going to leave some of my tomatoes sort of intact. But I am going to grind up the rest of the tomatoes. Some of the tomatoes, I'll leave them sort of chunky. A little bit chunky. I'm going to put a few more of them. Just that many more. And this is going to make for my meat sauce. How about that? I'm going to go ahead. I'm putting brown sugar in here. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon of brown sugar in that mixture. And I'm also going to put about a half a teaspoon of salt in it for right now. And since I'm using this blender to mix everything up, because I got to cook it, I'm going to use a teaspoon of soy sauce to go in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and blend that together. And I'll be right back. Y'all know who it is when you... I'm multitasking, y'all. Multitasking. See, we got that one blended up. And sometimes you can get it going too well. The onion looks a little bit white because of the onion. Okay, so now we got all that mixed up together, and this is what is going to make our meat sauce for that meatloaf, okay, to eat with the rice. And then we're going to use about, that's about a half of a cup of tomato sauce. Tomato ketchup, rather, not tomato sauce, tomato ketchup, okay. And I'm going to have to put a little bit of water to thin it out somewhat. And then we're going to put about a couple teaspoons of flour in there to make it authentic gravy. Just need that little bit of water content in there. And then I'm going to take my meatloaf out and I'm going to pour off the drippings from the meatloaf, okay? Okay, didn't have a lot of drippings because remember now, this is turkey meat. You know, turkey does not have a lot of oil, so this is all of the juice. Whoop, I almost poured my whole meatloaf in there. Okay, so that was all the drippings that we got off of that meatloaf. Excuse me, ooh, something got in my throat, y'all. Meanwhile, at the OK Corral, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my flour. There's my phone. Y'all knew the kids were going to call, didn't you? You knew they were going to call. Okay, I'm going to start getting my milk bath ready for my chicken. So in here I've got a cup of milk, a couple tablespoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of my dry chicken bouillon cube seasoning. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt and pepper. And what that does, that gives me like a buttermilk like base to dip that chicken in. Because I didn't have any buttermilk. So that's like making my own buttermilk. So you all are getting all my cooking 101 basic tips today, I think. And then get me about half a teaspoon of salt going on in there. It just makes for a nice little something to keep that flour hugging the chicken. Don't need a lot, just a little. Just dip that chicken in right quick and pull it out, put it in that flour, drop it in that grease, and we're gonna pan fry it. I love pan fried chicken. Okay, that's ready. It's like batter up, batter up. Okay, so now I think my tomato sauce is ready to go on to my meatloaf. So let's see if we can get that going on. Let's see. Okay, we're rolling. So let's pull it out a little bit. And all we're gonna do is just pour that sauce right on top of that meatloaf. Plenty of sauce on there. So that meatloaf is swimming in that sauce. I'm just gonna run it through the oven for about 10-15 minutes. And it's gonna be ready, y'all. Okay, we're getting this chicken dipped and battered. So it needs to get in this pan. Should have been in the pan, but that's all right. I think we can get 8 pieces in there at a time. So that's almost 8 pieces. I got some dressing meat in there. I didn't realize that. Get you lots of flour, honey, when you're doing this. Make sure that grease is real hot, but not too hot. Still making a mess. I got a pan thinking it was going to help me from making a mess. I tell you, when you're using flour, it seems like it's just inevitable. You're just going to get a mess going on. I don't care what. Turn it back, that heat off a little bit. Drop it in. That still is really, really hot. And when I get everything in there, I put the lid on, it'll slow down the cooking process. Okay. Well, we don't want to necessarily slow down, we just don't want it to brown too quick. Just remember, I got the milk on it and it will brown faster because it has the milk on it. Okay. The perfect amount, yeah. One more piece to go in there, I think, right there, right there. Okay, now what I need to do is get my lid going on it. Okay, we're gonna cover that. You know, it takes 15, about 15 minutes for that to fry. So I'll turn that heat down because I can see it just browning away in there. Yep, you have to really watch that temperature on that skillet when you're dealing with frying anything that has any milk content to it, because it will brown right quick, and just like what has happened here. So what you have to do then, I went ahead and put the lid on it so it'll slow it down a little bit. But what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm just going to go ahead and flip it, and then I'm going to have to flip it back. But at least it won't get, see how it starts to brown already? You know it's not done because I just put it in there. Okay, got my first pan of chicken going, y'all. I tell you what, when you're working on a time frame to cook stuff, it seems like that time starts tick, 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 ticking. Like if you're going to do something at 4 o'clock, if you don't have most of it done by 3, you're in trouble. You're in real, real trouble. Let's turn that camera that way. Now, it's been in there 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean. Just that quick, in them 2 or 3 minutes, that chicken started to brown, but I'm good because I got it turned in time. Okay, let's turn it, and we're gonna cover it, and it's still gonna cook 15 minutes. See that how pretty and brown? Nowhere near done, but that's how it is with pan fried chicken, y'all. Those pieces there might not be so brown, but we're gonna just work with what we got. And you know what? One thing about cooking, if you halfway know what you're doing, you'll be okay. Okay? You'll be okay. Pan fried chicken is still pretty and brown. I'm going to go ahead and cover it and just let it cook because there's a certain amount of steam in there, but yet it's real hot in there. It's going to cook nicely. Okay? So while the chicken is frying, I'm going to go ahead and get the cornbread started and do a little cleanup. Okay, y'all, the meatloaf is coming out of the oven. Okay. How's that for meatloaf? Okay, so I'm just going to cover it, and then that last thing going in this oven is going to be my cornbread. Then I'm going to turn this hot oven off. I got my grease and nothing here for the bread. So I'm going to let it sit there another minute or two while I whip this bread up. So while we're talking, we might as well go ahead and get this bread done. Okay, so I got to put a cover over my meatloaf because I want it to just sit for a minute or two and do what you call rest. It needs to rest. Whatever that means. I kind of thought it was that something to me. It just means to let it sit there and let all the juices soak in and let it quiet down from cooking and go to this next phase. So I've got 2 cups of meal in here, and I'm making some cornbread. 2 cups of self-rising Martha White meal. I usually use the yellow cornmeal, but I got Martha White. It was on sale, so that's what I bought that day. I need a cup of milk added to that 2 cups of meal, and those 2 eggs. Okay, I believe, yep, that's gonna be plenty. If you got buttermilk, add buttermilk. If you need a little, after that much milk, if you need a little bit more liquid, just go ahead and add a little bit, maybe not even a 1/4 of a cup of water. Now I've got to put my sugar in, you know that. And you also got your oil left to put in there. So I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of sugar in there. There that goes. And then the oil, 3/4 of a cup of cooking oil, whatever kind of oil you have, or you can do butter. If you got butter, you can do butter. Okay, I always put butter right on top of mine. So that's all there is to making cornbread. And that's pretty much the recipe, I think, on the side of the bag. And of course, I got my baking pan in the oven with some oil in the bottom of it, heating up. And then when I mix this up real good like so, because my people like that little sweet cornbread. They like little cake cornbread. Get it all whipped up about like that. I'm going to pour it in that pan. and bake it for 20 minutes, and we'll have a pan of cornbread. Not making a big pan today because I'm not having, I guess maybe about 8 of us each. Yep, okay, y'all, there it is. The meatloaf is ready. The cabbage is done. The green beans are ready. Look at those yams, y'all. Now that's when you know you got some good old time candy yams. When they get that little brown coloration to them, cooked down with that syrup. Okay? And there's some steamed Uncle Ben's rice. Of course, that's my fried chicken. My fried chicken. And of course, I'm still frying chicken over here, y'all. So I got that pan in. When that one comes out, I got one more pan of chicken. I think I must have had 24 pieces. So I've had 8 pieces in each pan. And the cornbread is about to come out of the oven. I had to leave. I'm just leaving it there. I really don't have anywhere to sit it. So cornbread is almost on its way out the oven. There it is, y'all. Y'all saw it first. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. Now, y'all know that's some perfect cornbread. So I'm going to be taking out in just a few seconds here. Just want to let y'all see. Dinner is just about to be served, y'all. As soon as I get this pan of chicken out. And I'll be frying chicken when they get here. So it don't matter. I got enough for them to get started on. Okay? Okay, y'all. I had to pause for the calls for a minute there, y'all. So, just so you know, this Sunday dinner is ready. We'll get ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy. I am ahead of the game. The train has not quite pulled in yet, but when it does, I'm ready for them. Sydney and everyone won't be able to make it today. They had some other things to pop up at the last minute. But anyway, it's Sydney's birthday. So, hey, Sydney, happy birthday. Got you, guy. We'll have to do the cake and ice cream thing another time. And it worked out well anyway, because guess what? My freezer went out. My freezer actually went out. So, God knows how to work things out for the good. So we got that under control. So now, as we begin to shut this down, I'm going to say to y'all, thank y'all for tuning in with me, staying on the journey with me. Love you guys. Thanks for all of your support. And listen, y'all, keep those prayers going up now so the blessings will continue to come down. So until I decide to cook again, I'm going to say love you guys. Go in that kitchen and get that Sunday dinner going. Or go ahead and sit down and eat it or whatever. Hey, stand still and I'll flip you a piece of this chicken, y'all. So, until we meet again, y'all, I'm going to say love you. Toodaloo.